Ladies and gentlemen of the crypto space, we're live on a Wednesday, November 13th at 3:10 p.m. The captain gets his sense y'all need a stream because there's a whole lot of stuff going down. I remember the quiet days of about 2 to 3 years ago, over the last 2 to 3 years. And that was the time to do very interesting things. And now is the time to sit back and do less. It's actually the time to do less right now. And that's where I find myself sitting back and watching charts do absolutely incredible things, and I'm in awe and prepared. This is what we work so hard for. I have one or two things that I will be doing over the next week. I have some cash to manage. I have a meme coin thing that I played on Solana. This thing is absolutely bonkers. Doge, Department of Government Efficiency, and it started ripping last night, obviously, with the announcement, and then today with the actual X handle, Department of Government Efficiency. This thing's going wild. So this thing's going to go right to the top of the fib. I think I snagged it literally right around there, 160, 155, something like that. That's like a 5x, give or take, which is very nice. It's not a lot. I put like four figures, and so it's some multiples, like a 5x. So if I get a 10x and it does something interesting, that's cool. A little something. Not something that I take great pride in to take excessive risk. Although in hindsight, you always like, I wish I threw five, six figures in there. I threw six. That would have been a nice couple of multiples. So you get a 10x on 100 grand. That's a nice couple of multiples. But anyway, you got to be a bit of a sociopath to do things like that sometimes. Um, $9. That's crazy. People are crazy. Absolutely crazy. Because do you know how many of these there are? It's like five of them on Solana. The big one's back on mainnet, Ethereum mainnet, and that's like 400 or 500 mil market cap. And this one's just running 87 mil. It's 15 mil market cap last night. Anyhow, the real story is $93,000 this morning. Ethereum's still lagging. At some point, it blows. Well, it already blows for the last how long, but at some point it blows up in a good way rather than a bad way, maybe a retest. 29, not that much of a retest in my opinion. And that'd be a 200 on the daily, and then boof. I look forward to hindsight of Q2 2025 with Q1 in the rearview mirror, and we're like, all right, that made sense. Hindsight always gives you 2020, and it should make sense in hindsight. Pearl was up 32 cents this morning, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just paint that picture. This has been a horizontal accumulation, consolidation since June of this year. It's going on 6 months. That's a massive, massive consolidation. It's easy to look back at all of this. That's years. It's 2 years with the depreciation. But this is a nice set of consolidation, a nice period of consolidation at a very depreciated price. You could have said that, between November 22 and April of 24, 2 years of not a lower low. And then you finally have what's called the capitulation lows, where there's no one left to sell. And now all that remains is the damn bullish narrative of SCRBUSD launching. I have it somewhere, or did I close it? Yeah, that's crazy. 20%? 20%. Folks are often like, where does the yield come from? That's what's so fascinating about liabilities, the cost of capital. So the cost of capital is what creates yield. So the yield is coming from people that are accepting a particular interest rate as the cost of capital. You understand that? So they are like, I will pay. Well, in fact, here you go. If you go over to Curve USD and you see this is the cost of capital, and they're willing to pay 30, 50% in STETH. up at 66 mil. So look at this. This cost of capital has rallied significantly. So people are putting on the leverage significantly using this CRV USD product, and the supply has gone up. People are taking on additional risk, and they're willing to pay these rates because if you're going to get a big multiple on leverage STE, you pay your interest rate. That's 50% over a year, guys. You got to remember that. It's the cost of a year. It's annualized. So you're doing it for a week or 2 weeks. It's not a big deal. And a week that's divided by 50, you're paying 1% a week. Is Ethereum could potentially rip more than 1% a week? You see what I'm saying? All of a sudden, 50% APR for a potential coin that could rip 30, 40, 50% in a week. This cost of capital is kind of reasonable. It's actually quite rational, especially when you're doing it leverage. The top of the you get 30% and you looping it twice, looping it 3 times. Okay, so that's why that works. Was that's why this cost of capital is quite acceptable. And to top it all off, that cost of capital is what creates this 19.55%. This is a big deal. Between this and DeFi.money, synergy could potentially be extraordinary. I really look forward to the TGE, the cap raise for DeFi.money. Contemplating maybe two particular positions. Depending on how much capital I get here, I think I will exit around there. Top of the fib. Full fib extension. 21. Not gonna. Yeah, fine. Let it retrace. That's a full fib extension. Nobody holds a full fib extension. So I'll take the full fib extension. And maybe I'll take a clip of FXN because I sure as hell don't have the capital right now, but this is a spec play, and it can produce that capital to take that position that I've wanted. Always wanted it. Just didn't have the excess capital. I needed other things. I needed to construct the portfolio that I have right now. I mean, it's literally like barely around the 2x, give or take, from the total fib extension. That's just wild. They put the top there. Just insane exuberance. And it's just completely irrational. Like whoever bought down here, not even at 14 cents. I want to know from November 4th, it's the 13th. I want to know who bought a fat clip. I want to know who bought this wick right here down at 3 cents. I want to know. Let's see if I want to. Was that just the opening? No. I want to know. I want to know who bought this. Who bought the opening clip? I want to know these things. Maybe you see that's the problem with meme coins. I want to know. In reality, in order to successfully navigate meme coins, I probably shouldn't know anything. But holy, this thing's gonna run the fib. 89 mil. Then you go over to Doge, and you're at 421 mil on mainnet. So here's the thing. Meme coins mainnet. Oh no. Oh no. Meme coins on Solana. Yes. That's where shit gets absolutely weird. So it's much older on mainnet. Where's the age? 2 months. Whereas it's the NCOV contracts, 15 days. So I get the sense that it might be older on mainnet, but considering demographics and the user base, so on and so forth, demographics, it's kind of like the oldest variant on Solana is the de facto, and that's where the volatility is. I think it just does just as well 421 milli mainnet. That'd be at least another 4x from here, just to reach parity. And a 4x from here would be 8, 16, 24, 32. Past the fibs. That'd just be weird. But then again, would that be a surprise? Because everything in this damn space is weird. Back to 31. I think this goes soon. I think it's time. I think with Curve being in the Coinbase 50, you heard about that, right? So Coinbase created the Crypto 50, and it turns out uh, Curve is in it. Really 0.02%. Okay. Okay, it's in it. The fact that Curve is there implies there'll be significant flows at some point. There should be consistent flows, institutional flows, just at least a trickle of capital over time. And that implies finally going to break the downtrend. This thing gets past 32, and we're finally going to push back to like 42 to start, which is nice. That's a 30% bump. Relatively weak resistance of 50. And then you got to get past like 59, 60 cents, which is the 100 on the weekly. I think if you get past the 100 on the weekly, then it's clear skies to the 200 on the weekly. Although you have the TWAP on the monthly, which is not too significant. Yeah, I think that's where we're at. Once you get past the daily, which is 32, you run to first stop, second stop, and then it just gets weird quick because there's a reflexivity. Just like there's a reflexivity for CRV to go down based on supply and demand and the emission schedule. It's the same with it going up, because once it starts going up, what do you think happens to the APRs on the LPs? APRs of the LPs are proportional to the current price. And then all of a sudden, everyone's like, I could boost I could double my LP. So instead of getting 25%, I can get 50%, 10%, I can get 20%. Oh my God. So then all of a sudden there's this flywheel that kicks in and it goes up instead of down. So with folks that don't really, can't really, and don't really visualize the mechanic, once this thing gets going, it gets going quick because of the supply crunch. It's a very illiquid coin, which is the contrary of what everyone thinks about Curve. They're like, oh, it just dumps, 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 and because of the emissions. It's a very illiquid coin. Almost all of it is locked. Either in just raw VE curve or by a synergistic protocol, part of the Curve Federation. Similar mechanic with CBX, albeit my pension, my interest, it's base layer. I don't need any of the higher level stuff. DXY ripping past 106. Wow. So well, generally speaking, when the dollar doing with the dollar doing this, the system is having like a seizure. Something is breaking. You don't have a dollar spike like this in this stage of the market without something breaking. You don't go from 100 to 106 and a half without something breaking. That's 6%. So let me explain something very clearly, and Japan is the best way to do that. Since September, and it's November, the price of 100% of all imports in Japan has gone up 6.5%. That's how the dollar works outside of the US. There's 6.5% more yen is required to buy dollars to buy things dollar denominated outside of the United States, outside of Japan. So keep that in mind. That's why this is breaking things. and move at 108. Another bounce off the 200 on the weekly. Can we please break the weekly? Can these government regulators get their shit into gear and finally get things under control? How the hell are we bouncing off the weekly, guys? Oh my God, it's been all year. We're talking March. Bounce. Failed breakdown, failed breakdown, and then bounce up to 135. 135 was the system collapsing. If you had 135, in fact, you did in July of 13, you know what the system was doing? Back in 2020, everyone knew what the system was doing when you had a spike like this. It was blowing up. And now we've been at or above these levels for years. This is insane right here. I mean, we literally had the great financial crisis at these levels. These levels indicate crisis. So when these things finally roll over, when this chart literally rolls over below the weekly 200, it's gonna get so damn weird. I don't even know what I don't even know what to say. How weird things are gonna get. It's just this. Oh, spell's been doing good. It's back up to 7,350. That's good to see. It's getting above the MAs. You know why I like spell? I'm not going to own it, but it's a great business, and they got great cash flow, and they know how to rent votes, and therefore it's a good business from my standpoint as a renter of votes to them as a rentee of votes. So I look forward to them appreciating in price. Fun fact, curves up 11.5% when everything else is pulling back. Not really Bitcoin. Bitcoin's holding on to 3% for the day. Ethereum getting crushed. Bitcoin denominated. That's just painful to look at. And Bitcoin dominance, yep, blew out all-time high or local high. That's a big blowout too. Geez, Bitcoin and Bitcoin was at 93, not even 90, not too long ago. And that's what the Bitcoin dominance indicator looks like. Oh, uh, people got to watch what they own. Got to own the most meaningful of investments. You had to build a quality portfolio over the last couple of years, such that it survives this onslaught, this maelstrom, this tormenta. I'll go see oil at 68. It's so weird. Oh, so weird. It's like oil screaming deflation, bond market screaming inflation, um, DXY. I don't know what the hell the DXY and the move indicator is screaming, but other than Treasury market dysfunction and the price of money is all messed up, stuff like that. Just really weird. Anywho, um, 20s. That's just so wild to look at. What else was I looking at? I was looking at Gamma Swap on Arbitrum. Very interesting pools for LPs. Pepe. People speculating on Pepe. So guess what? You can deposit. Um, you take volatile exposure, obviously, with Pepe. I don't know if you have. It's not like it's single-sided exposure. I wonder unzap. No, because it's an LP more or less, and then I just it's a thought considering the potential revenue, 103, and then you could borrow against it as well. So I found these numbers interesting. Not that I'm totally leaning towards this as a destination for Park Capital. Um, I do find it interesting though. I do have Tsunami up here, but I'm not gonna. I'm not leaning towards it. Probably leaning towards just something comfortable, which is like a CRV USD, SCRV USD, and I think that that might be the amount of revenue that I can tolerate because it takes you have to tolerate more risk in order to acquire more revenue. And frankly, that's a lot. So that might be enough. That might be enough. Let's go through some commentary and help you guys out. Not much else to go through right now. Let's see how Ramsey's is doing on a Wednesday. All right, couple of bucks. Let's look at the vote. 16K in rewards. All right, not bad. Not bad at all. 25, 34 cents. 34 cents, not bad at all. Okay, I like that. Haven't seen that in some time. If That's what I want to see. I mean, 34 cents is actually wild. Wow, 49 cents RBUSDC. First off, there's 29% of the votes in, so that's going to get diluted, and the odds are you're not getting 49 cents. But definitely something nice to see the numbers going up for once rather than down. Anywho, Bade Ruga, good evening, Cap. Much a pleasure, much a pleasure. Sure, Joe, present. Sahil, hey, Captain, how's it going? Have you looked at the Sand project, the Forest meme coin? Most likely not. Let's take a peek, though. Man, I do not know what a Sand is. Do not know what it is. Oh, it's Forest, as you said. Liquidity is quite diversified. Radium, 38 mil market cap. Well, here's your liquidity. No, I have no interest in stuff like this. The only reason I have interest in a meme coin is because it's Elon Musk and it's the Department of Government Efficiency. And this might be the most memeable thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Otherwise, to me, meme coins are mostly stupid. Peanut was cute. I liked it. Who doesn't like a damn cute squirrel? But Peanut's crazy. Um, the brain rot stuff, all right, fine. Skibbity, stuff like that. It's pop culture. It's interesting. Obviously, Pepe, big deals. Freaking Pepe. That's a serious meme. I think this could be a very big meme. And I think Solana takes it away from mainnet. You don't watch a meme coin on mainnet anymore, ladies and gentlemen. You want a meme coin to metastasize and become what they become. You do it on Solana. So that's the story here. That's my sentiment here. Uh, Sahil, Raul Pal, Taiki, and a lot of that crew is in it too. Yeah, there's endless meme coins. Base is getting pretty hot too. So what I like to do is sort by market cap and then look on volume. You want liquidity to be somewhere near market cap so you don't have something. Look at that peanut too. Peanut too. You want more. I would like a higher market cap. Maybe there's something that's an outlier. And then you obviously have to contemplate what the hell the meme is. Baby peanut, another peanut. Oh my God. All killed by police. Oh my God. Oh my God. Is there anything interesting? I mean, this is obviously like every couple hours you have to look through this thing to see if there's anything interesting. Oh, oh, that's interesting. Huh. Did I open the right one? Cult of Pepe. Okay. Need some no volume. I mean, that's interesting, but there's no volume. Albeit there was a little bit of a bump, but that was today. Okay. No, nothing interesting right now. Ah, okay. Go back. And we'll see if there's any. You can't push it. You can't stretch it. Either there's something that's like brain dead obvious, or there's not. And I think that's it for Solana for me. You could go over to base. Go over to base, up by market cap, 1.25 bill. Then you got volume. So 200s. Okay. But you want us to see the volume greater than the market cap, because that indicates usually like a decent cost basis reset. For instance, let's go back to Solana and you look at 881. So look at the market cap is 87, liquidity 2.3 mil, and $139 million in volume. So what that basically indicates is just crazy. That's obviously what it indicates. Everyone needed to be told that very explicitly. People are nuts. So that's an example of nuts. So you go back here, you go back to market cap. So you want volume greater than market cap. Huh, 170%, 174% Coin 50 Coinbase index. This just came out. Brand new at 3.2 mil market cap. Came out last night. I'd rather have the sweetheart deal down here. Nah, not enough structure. Don't know. Maybe. Maybe an entry right about there. Maybe. I mean, this is a decent piece of crap. It's a decent shitcoin. Let's go back one more time. What am I doing with you guys? Am I looking at shitcoin? I told you guys for the last 2.5 years, at some point we're gonna look at shit. So we're looking at shit, aren't we? We dilute the value, price, liquidity. Here's the volume, 24 volume. Okay. We're looking at volume, 19 million. See, there's not a lot of churn. So what happens is, this is how you get rolling tops and things just go up and they come down. Coin. And you obviously gotta get a sense of the meme itself, which is no more than a word and an image. MFR, 30 mil still. And Brett, 1.27 bill. So this is where I go back to my identification of something of most interest. I'm like, that's cool. What do I need more than that? I have the entire portfolio. Let me go back to Doge. I'm not gonna find it. Let's go to X screener. Go to Savannah. And there it is. Back. See, look, back to 9. This thing's gonna run. 932. But look at that. Somebody's gonna take a big exit, and this thing's gonna take a fat dip. 2.3 mil in liquidity on 100 mil market cap. 8.89. Anywho, so here, those boys look into a lot of things. I look into a lot of things, but I still must apply my rational take to everything. Gold with the retrace down to 25.75 indicates deflation. Deflation of what? Currency deflation? Means people are needing to basically sell their gold because they need dollars, because dollars are increasingly scarce. And kind of coincides with the DXY saying DXY strength, dollar down. More or less. Dollar supply is a funny thing. Peter P. Peter P. Hey, Cap. How are you? Good morning, Sake. Frank, thank you for all the years of knowledge and learning. We're all better as a result. It is a pleasure and an honor, and thank you for listening to my crazy monologues and rants at times. Arrow, what will correct first, DXY or BTC? Speculation. That's why I have done what I've done over the years. The market will tell us the story, whether it's Bitcoin or the DXY. 'Cause if the DXY corrects, and Bitcoin's not even done yet, hasn't even started, because that'd be a forward-looking indicator on systemic liquidity. So, you know, separate the forward-looking indicators from portfolio management, and that was the core of what I wanted to do. Build a portfolio. You build a portfolio that's an all-weather portfolio that's got all-season tires on it, and that can handle all the bumps, all the waves. And it's like, oh, it's all good. It's all good. And the art there is, what are the assets to own that are all season? And I think that's what we've constructed over the last couple of years. An all-weather, all-season portfolio. So it doesn't matter which corrects first. What matters is watching the story and understanding what it's telling you, and separating the story of the market's activity with the portfolio that you have. There's a connection, but there's also a separation. They're distinct considerations, what the market's doing versus how you've constructed the portfolio. So I say, and as I always do, the way you manage a portfolio is rigorous. It's consistency, executing your procedures and your rules. That doesn't change when the market changes. It's very important to remain consistent at all times. P to P, how long until BTC flips gold? Not too far. Um, I forget who was talking about it on X. There was a nice thread. It's like Bitcoin already passed like Saudi Armaco, whatever, however you pronounce it, the big Saudi oil and gas. Um, so it's not stopping. I mean, it's literally it punched 90,000 this morning with authority. That was pretty crazy. Wait, we waited for years for this. And now folks are like, oh, it's going to top out. It's over and it's going to correct. Doesn't matter if it corrects. What matters is you spent the last couple of years buying shit. And now you get to see other folks want to buy the stuff that you own. So relax and enjoy this moment, because we're the ones who said over the last couple of years this was inevitable. And here's that inevitability playing out. Okay? Hope that helps. I agree with Frank. We are all better off thanks to you and your weekly streams who explain the global system well. Uh, I could have always done better, I'd like to say, but I think I've offered a decent explanation of how this shit works, especially with regard to dollars. What the hell is a dollar? So critical to understand. And it really does, boom, shine a spotlight on the most exciting opportunities, in my opinion. Dollars, biggest business on the planet, therefore the biggest opportunities on the planet over a decent time horizon. Like in 8 years, why can't we have like a DeFi bank get on some sort of level as a real systemically important bank? You're talking global. If you open a bank in like Kansas, that's a large bank. It's worth like 20, 30, 40, 50 mil. You're in Kansas, bro. How the hell do you go global? These banks, these crypto banks, are global in every 100% of all countries around the world. Instantaneously, automatically global. Changes the equation of total addressable market and scale and scope of everything, every consideration associated with the potential for owning these banks. Whole nother level of investment consideration. Thoughts on USDAF spot? Um, Spot's a big deal. So it's not a business. It's a great stable coin. What does that mean? I mean, we're all not Pepe Soros, old school Ampleforth who just extracts money out of Ampleforth like no one ever. He just probably still does it to this day. Good old Pepe Soros. Um, Spot's a big deal because we need dollars that are not that don't have a cost of capital. Oh shit! The Medigard spot is a better dollar. That doesn't mean anything with regard to it replacing the dollar. That's not the way it works. It's probably a better dollar in many regards. Definitely a fascinating product. I've always had a high opinion of it. As an investment, where's the interest? And where does so that's very important to understand of where the interest comes from, if there is an interest. And that's why it's so easy with SCRB USD. That interest literally comes from cost of capital. Cost of capital pays interest, interest creates cash flow. And that's the way the whole planet works. So this is a different type of dollar. I like these dollars because these dollars imply someone's taking a risk to create the dollar. Whereas spot being a great dollar, nobody's taking a risk owning that dollar. So risk presents opportunity, and risk is usually paid for, and people are paying for their risk and interest rate. And Curve built a business where people could own other people's interest rates they're taking for risk. Holy shit! Got me the best fucking, the most incredible business product I've ever seen. And Metadex is cute. Metadex is cool. I look forward to when all the Metadexes get on board with Andre's true vision, much grander in scope, as he's mentioned. But even, but this product, this stable coin, and guess what's also in DeFi money? These products got to be the best dollar products I've ever seen. Absolutely fascinating. So I know that's a bit of a digression as compared to USDAF and spot, but that's generally my sentiment. Hope that helps. Peter, 19% on SCRBUSD. Yeah, that's a massive number. And as people plow money, or they don't plow money, people are getting 19%. Um, but as that pool is monetized, these interest rates come down as people are buying CRVUSD from the market in order to get exposure to the SCRVUSD rate. So that drives this down, and leverage drives it up, and then you get a flywheel effect. And man, this flywheel is going to be crazy once it starts going. It's the way it works. Built into the cake, ladies and gentlemen. Doge is a good coin, better for payments than Bitcoin, faster, cheaper, still UTXO and proof of work. I don't know how all that's going to play out because even Bitcoin's not good for payments. You know what Bitcoin's great for? Um, Collateral. Like nobody in their right mind spends their Bitcoin. And obviously we've all spent Bitcoin historically. Throw it on a debit card, what have you. But it's great as collateral. If you could had enough, if you have enough Bitcoin and you could and you borrow 3% per year, and the 3% per year is like 200 grand a year. Imagine how much Bitcoin you need to do that. Um, but that 200 grand per year is a salary, which you don't have to pay any tax on, and the CAGR of Bitcoin is 30%. So to account for the volatility, you're borrowing only 3%. You could literally just borrow 3% per year on your Bitcoin in as long as Bitcoin continues to have a CAGR of 30%. And you can borrow more. The more you borrow, the more risk you're taking. But the point is, if you have enough Bitcoin, in theory, you don't need cash flow because it is cash flow. And that's frankly the MicroStrategy story, the way they discuss debt and credit and the way they use their business tools. Um, so that would work, but you need a threshold of Bitcoin in order to execute that particular procedure. So I guess how does that answer your question? Is Doge is a good coin? Doge is absolutely crushing things from a meme perspective. Where's my little Doge? 7.95. Come on, it's a big retrace down here though. 267 to a buck. That'll be down to five and change. All right, let it retrace. Let it do its thing. You don't get past one without a retrace. And he got stopped out at what? 1618. It's already at a fib extension. Crazy. Crazy. Yeah, advisor in the house. Good morning. Best stream in the industry, folks. I try. Saying it as a streamer. Not so easy what we do. But, you know, um, we talk about the markets. We talk about real things, things that are important to people. The decision-making process, the rationale that we use in order to engage with this absolutely insane thing we call humanity. And it's only getting more insane by the day. Cap, what metrics are you looking at these days? Um, I think we're almost beyond metrics. It's just sit back and watch. Um, I did actually start the stream talking about meme coins, so I wouldn't mind to see something interesting, and I'm favoring Solana. Um, I want to see this guy. I want to get a nice little rip on this guy. Let this guy go to the top of the fib, and I wouldn't mind financing an FXM position. That's basically what I said a little bit earlier. Can I get this down to the 1 hour? I want to see 1 hour buys and sells. Look at that. This is pretty crazy. It's the buy. Look at the buy sell skew. 71 mil. So there's more buy dollar rhythm compared to sell. So it's a cost basis reset. That's why meme coins actually do some weird things. It's a full rotation of capital. 70 mil cost basis reset. Jesus. 40,000 buyers. So this is skewed up. And we literally see that with the price. Um, yeah, here's the 1 hour. Yeah, I'm not. This is going 15%, and you have 8,000 buyers and 4,000 sellers in the last hour. With just a little skew in the buy sell vol. 5,700 buyers compared to 30. This is consolidation. That is a heck. I mean, even in the last 5 minutes, basically double the buyers compared to the sellers. Anywho, I guess folks are a bit surprised that I'm looking at this shit, but why not? This is what's meaningful, the human behavior, and it tells a story because that's the whole point. Like, as we talk about credit, we talk about foreign exchange and derivatives, and what is a dollar, and Kirk Federation, and all this fancy stuff because it tells a story. But technically, memes tell a story too. Most of them tell no interesting story; they tell a shit story of PvP and just a cash grab. But when you see something like this, when you see such a skew of buyers to sellers, and the buy vol like this, and the buyers like this, down to the five, clearly on like 24 hours, up 35x on the money. Very interesting what it means. It's only 71 mil market cap, and we know what the other market caps are for other assets in this space. They have your comps. Comps, just like real estate. So the comps are a couple hundred mil, two, three, four, five. Five, and the few get to a bill. Once you get to a bill, you get monetized, and then is everything is open ended from there on where things head. So look at the one on mainnet at 393 mil. Like that spread is coming down a little bit. I'd be very interested to see if Solana flips mainnet because you don't do meme coins on mainnet anymore. That was 4 years ago. Macro and DeFi. I mean, we're at 90,000 Bitcoin. There's not much more macro we need to talk about other than who's bullshitting, meaning Is Bitcoin telling the right story or is the dollar telling the right story? Which one is it? Because the Bitcoin telling the right story is that global liquidity is going to, there people are front running the expansion of global capital. And for global capital to expand, the move needs to roll over at minimum, which means bond volatility, long end treasury volatility needs to collapse, and DXY needs to can stop doing what it's doing. So who's calling bullshit? I would say Bitcoin is a greater source of truth than the dollar. I would say everyone's speculating that the powers that be know if the dollar keeps doing what it's doing, you're not going to have Japan exporting anything. You're not going to have China exporting anything. You're going to have complexity because their financial systems cannot finance their dollar debt. And you get failures of countries around the world, which means social chaos, disorder, and anarchy. So that is generally my sentiment. Who's calling bullshit? That's where we're at with regard to Bitcoin versus macro data. And whoever is betting on it, they're betting big. It takes big money to make moves like this. Look at curve up 11% of the day. Good for them. The heel, much a pleasure. Ben Bruga, I have bought two shitcoins, gave up after that. Will get my enjoyment watching you. Yeah, I don't buy them. I don't. It's the same thing with investments. Either it's a no-brainer or it's a non-starter. I stare at these things. It's all garbage. Not only do you need the proper chart setup, two, you need the data like I was just going through. You need to inspect buy sell skew. Is it more buyers than sellers? Is there a distribution? And this is, I wish the only thing I wish is I bought it cheaper because this thing looks very healthy. Looks like people are just buying it and a lot more than people are selling it. I mean, the buy vol to sell vol is 71.9 versus 71 mil. That's literally almost a complete reset. You understand? So if 71 mil bought and 71 mil sold, that means everyone that sold was bought, and everyone that bought at the higher price. Okay? That means in order for someone to make money, it has to go up from here, so less in sell. It's just basic psychology of any PvP capital gains play. So as long as your buy ball and sell ball are balanced, 20% on the hourly, great. 30, 40% on the hourly, great. I mean, literally minus 16% of the hourly, and it's just your net on the 24 hours is $1 million skewed towards the buy side with a total liquidity of 2.1 mil. Uh, nope, nope, nope. No runes, no runes. Too expensive. Come on, the boys on Bitcoin. You're talking about tenth of a Bitcoin at this point, which is 9 grand, and that's probably cheap. Those boys are with big money. All the OG Bitcoiners that have 100 to 100 plus Bitcoin. Hey, come on. If you were buying Bitcoin at $5, you literally got $500 worth of Bitcoin. 100, you throw around tenths pretty easily. Anywho, that's runes. Not too interested. No one outside crypto natives knows you can borrow cash against Bitcoin. That's the biggest issue. Yes, but the people in the crypto markets do, and the people on Ethereum and the derivatives and the L2s and yada yada yada, they want to borrow against Bitcoin. I would say Bitcoin more so than Ethereum. But they'll also borrow against Ethereum. The whole point is the product is to deposit collateral and borrow against it. And look at me. I borrow against Bitcoin. There's a lot of people that either do or will want to in the future. And that's the point. You want to see what people may see what people may likely want to do in the future. And how do we know they may likely want to borrow capital. That's what everyone does. The whole planet does. And that's what people will continue to do. Hope that helps. Soon, good evening. Much a pleasure, my friend. Snoke, what is the current situation, Captain? How do you see starting in 2025? Well, we're still early to get a sense of Q1 2025. We're still, well into Q4 24. Um, I mean, Bitcoin's pushing past 90 in Q4 24. I don't see how this is sustainable from a weekly candle standpoint. The question becomes, where's the retrace? There's no support anywhere other than 73,790. That's it. There's nothing. There's nothing back here. You're in uncharted territory right now. Price discovery, where people are trying to figure out what the hell is the most rational price for Bitcoin. We're going to find out. You're certainly going to find out. That's probably what. How do you see the start of 2025 going? We're in find shit out season where people are going to find shit out. Snoke, I suppose you're excited about the future, right? I mean, you are making even longer live streams. You are much appreciated. I hope so. I hope the future is okay. I am excited for change. I do not like things staying the same. And I'm not afraid of change, never been. I I look forward to it. And I think who we chose from an election standpoint is more inclined to offer change rather than no change. I think we're going to see significant change, and that's something to be excited about. Now, on the contrary, a lot of folks are afraid of change, and that's both unfortunate and just real. People like things to stay the same, and I'm like, no. But there's that bifurcation in society, and that's kind of really where we are. People are either voting on change or no change, and we voted on hopefully significant difference in capital management at the government level. So the United States continues to be well funded and capable of raising debt and capable of everything we know it's currently capable of into the future. So I am hopeful, to say the least. Snoke, you're very welcome. Much a pleasure, much a pleasure. How does a token like, for example, Aave have utility? Well, utility is a meme. At some point, the this memes, which literally have no tokenomics, translate to: is it disinflationary? Is it deflationary? Is it inflationary? What's the emission schedule? Is it decaying emissions? Is there buyback and burn? Is there a tax? That's utility season because utility is a meme. What's pertinent is product, foreign exchange, credit, derivatives. So Aave offers credit. And then there's some subcategories because obviously, like dollar liabilities, what Curve does with CRV-USD is, I would argue, a subcategory of credit. Um, so what Aave does, the Aave token, uh, owning a credit business, and hopefully it pays better in the future because it's probably one of the most entrenched, moated, and significant businesses in the entire crypto space. Hope that helps. When does the stimulus money printing monetary policy going to be released? From who? Are you talking about the government? There is no stimulus. There's no printing. There's no monetary policy. If anything, the Fed is still quantitatively tightening, and we see that ever so clear by the 10-year up 0.5% on the day at 4.49%. I don't think they're going to do QE. I think they'll just force the commercial banks to buy it. I don't know what they're going to do. I do not know at all. But there's no stimulus and no money printing, other than what the banks do, because the government doesn't really print money. Kind of never have. And the world has printed 95% of all dollars in existence. The US has printed very little money. There's only like 34, what's the total debt? 34 trillion and change? If there's 34 trillion and change that the U.S. printed, and around the world, let's say there's 270 trillion, most of the dollar was not printed by us. Okay, that's a very important structural understanding of how the system works, where debt is dollars and dollar liabilities are manifestation of leverage, people exercising their right to say what the cost of capital is. That's what dollars are. So most of the dollars in existence were not printed by the United States, do not exist in the United States, probably all around the world in the form of liabilities on bank balance sheets. Anywho, last couple questions. We're going to wrap it up for today, ladies and gentlemen. It's funny. Currently here in Europe, 1 year of saving a full year of your salary will allow you to live without allow you very little Bitcoin. But Bitcoin is significantly, it's doing very well against the euro, and it's clearly doing very well against the dollar. Guess what? Everyone is imperative to understand. Bitcoin going up in price is inflation. What's the difference between a house going up in price and Bitcoin going up in price? Obviously, Bitcoin goes up more. So Bitcoin is much more inflationary as compared to homes. Bitcoin is much more inflationary as compared to the stock market. It is pricing people out. People get angry when the price of homes goes up. People are happy when the price of Bitcoin goes up. Isn't that fascinating? Um, what's the difference? You can buy a fraction of a Bitcoin. That's a start. Can't really buy a fraction of a home. As from an investment standpoint, so you can speculate in the price of Bitcoin and especially altcoins like meme coins nowadays, much more so than you could with homes. Plus, people live in homes and it shouldn't be speculated on. And I think that's an entire debauchery that there's an industry of speculating on the price of homes and buying and selling homes. It's horrible. I hate flipping. I hate that shit. Home should be for people to live in because it's a big thing for people to have a home, to be comfortable and secure and protected, yada, yada, yada. So people are angry when the price of homes go up, and they're happy when the price of Bitcoin goes up. But you realize it's both inflation. Just understand that. That's very important. Monetary inflation, currency inflation, altcoin inflation. Number go up is inflation. It will cost more to buy Bitcoin in the future than today. Hope that helps. All right. Wednesday for a little recap on where we are in the market. Bitcoin coming off 93,000 back down to 88,628. What a hell of a day. Quite remarkable to see, to say the least. Say the least. Let's look at the Hang Seng. Rejection of the weekly 200. Very interesting. Let's see where we end the week, but at some point, these boys are going to have to push this back over. We've heard they're pushing out maybe 1.5 trillion US dollar worth of stimulus. Where the hell are they going to get it? It's another story. But that could be what this system needs, and that'll have a very clear impact on the crypto markets. And maybe that's what we're seeing a bit of a foreshadow of. Joel, is Jerome? No. Plan to hold up the rest of the world. Why is the dollar remaining too strong? No, he's intelligent, very seasoned, experienced. There's a game at play. There always is a strategy, something bigger than we know. Makes sense. So, and the Fed, well, to a degree, yes, I absolutely agree with that because I think I like free market economics, and if people take on too much leverage, they deserve to be liquidated and have their money taken away. I'm not fond of intervention. I don't like it. Oh, bad, good, maybe is a little subjective. Those are two very subjective words. But I'll reserve that opinion now, maybe for later. But that's that. Good question though. We will be able to buy fractions of real estate in the future with our AAC. That is right, and that's where these markets are heading. So where these markets are heading is where there's a significant increase in collateral in these markets. And what do you do with collateral? You borrow against it, and that's exogenous collateral that's literally just in addition to the endogenous collateral of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and what have you, which is crazy, which means there's going to be a whole lot of collateral, which is money printing. Why? Why do I say that? Because when the U.S. creates a couple $1 trillion in debt, that debt gets sold overseas. What are people doing with that? They're printing dollar liabilities. That's the exact same mechanism as Bitcoin going up in price or tokens of real estate getting on chain and people borrowing against it. That's a dollar creation process. It's currency inflationary. Okay? That's the way the system works. Wednesday, November 13th at 4:11 p.m. I thank you all for joining me today. It was a good one. We have another stream later this week. 239 people made it to the end of the stream. You are all just a little bit more rational because of it. So that is awesome to see. I wish you all a good one. Stay calm. Don't get too frantic. Don't have too much anxiety. Less is more. And I'll see you again Friday. Till then, peace.